All right, everybody, welcome back to Crossover Thursday, Locked On Giants, Locked On Colts. I'm Patricia Trainer of Locked On Giants. He is Jake Arthur of Locked On Colts. And of course, the Giants host the Colts on Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff Eastern Time at MetLife Stadium. And Jake, let's talk about the keys to victory. I mean, we'll start with the Colts because, quite honestly, the Giants, I don't know what the keys to victory are. I've got to think about this one. So let's start with you since you're the visitor.
Yeah, so I think we just saw a pretty good example of it for the Colts. Offensively, it was their biggest output of the year on Sunday. Also, 38 points. It was finally the game we had been waiting to see from them all season. You know, most of their most important pieces were healthy. Everyone was there. They were facing an inferior opponent, and they finally looked the part, offensively and defensively. Again, like I mentioned, until late in the third quarter when somehow a 38-7 lead became 38-30, like all within a quarter. So for me, that with the Colts, obviously the key is to run the ball. Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Jonathan Taylor went for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. Anthony had 70 yards. So that's obviously an enormous number, but I think that recipe is what the Colts would like to be how they win games every week. I think they want to be a run-based offense, getting Anthony Richardson involved as well, but Jonathan Taylor really driving the engine. With establishing the run like that, that creates play action opportunities and, just kind of classic run heavy offense because they do have the guys to take advantage of that. I mean, Alec Pierce was out last week, but he's been in the concussion protocol, but he was able to get in a limited practice on Friday. So hopefully he can come back in time and kind of be their key deep threat that they need him to be. So run the ball, let that kind of breed some play action opportunities for you. Also, that just kind of controls the clock and speeds things up and just gets us all out of here on time, So run the ball defensively. I really like what they did as well. Get some pressure, but create turnovers as well. They've done really well. They had 3 interceptions each in the last 2 weeks. That's usually going to lead to wins. It of course didn't against the Broncos a couple weeks ago, but against opponents that are really struggling like the Giants, that should be pretty good. And then if you get that big lead, number 3 for me, keep it up. Like sportsmanship, feel good stuff, that's great, but you've seen what happens and how quickly a lead can dissipate. A 31-point lead nearly disappeared within a quarter for you guys. If you get that big lead, keep it up defensively, keep bringing pressure, put them away offensively, keep up with the things that got you that lead. The Colts pulled Jonathan Taylor and basically, wasted a couple of drives until the Titans started to come back, and then they put him back there. And then what do you know? They were able to kind of the offense was able to put it away at the end of the game. So build your lead with the run game, protect it, and then defensively, pressure and creating those turnovers are huge, and it's things we've seen them do really, really well the past couple weeks. So what about the Giants? Is there anything in you that thinks they might have a chance?
Well, I guess there's always a chance as long as you show up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but seriously, I mean, it's going to sound very fundamental here, but the first thing the Giants need to do if they want to have any chance of winning this game is they can't make mistakes that end up costing them. I mean, I'll point to the last drive against the Falcons game as a good example. Now, granted, that drive was in garbage time. There was no way the Giants were going to come back and win. But on that drive, the Giants had half of their penalties the entire game. So they had 10 penalties. I think they had 5 penalties on that one drive alone. They're not good enough to overcome those types of mistakes. And I mentioned earlier about all the pre-snap penalties and playing with discipline. This team has just not done that basically all season long, and it has come back to bite them. You can't have, the quarterback holding on to the ball forever and throwing it late, and now all of a sudden the defender is jumping the route, which we saw in the game as well. So the Giants have got to play as close as possible to a mistake-free game as they can. Whether or not they can do it, I don't know. I mean, they haven't done it in basically all season long. Well, except for maybe 2 games, we could say, the 2 ones that they had. But that was just so long ago. It seems like it was an eternity. So that's key number 1. Defensively, look, you're dealing with a young quarterback in Anthony Richardson. You got to get after him. All right. Now, against the Falcons, who started Michael Penix Jr. for the first time, how many times did the Giants sack him? Guess? Okay. The number of wins that the Giants have at home, which is 0. How many
Eesh.
times did the Giants get pressure on Michael Penix Jr. to where they hit him? Just 2. The Giants' pass rush started off on fire. At one point they were leading the league in sacks. They have cooled off significantly to where they have something like 5 sacks, I want to say, in their last 6 games. All right, that's not going to get it done. When you have a young quarterback, especially, you want to get after him, you want to confuse him, you want to make him throw the ball on your terms. Giants just haven't been able to do that. And when a young quarterback has all that time back there, they can sit there and basically, look like the next Dan Marino. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so that's going to be a key. And then, look, I'm going to throw in special teams. Last week, special teams didn't cost the Giants, but it just seems like every game at home, special teams does something. Whether it's they miss blocks, whether it's they allow a big return, a missed field goal, a shank punt, whatever the case may be, there's always something that pops up with that unit that just makes you say, what are you doing? So field position, starting field position is especially key for a team that is struggling to move the ball, to score, and to give their fans something to cheer about other than the fact
Hmm.
that they're on en route to getting the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Yeah, that's tough, man. But I will tell you again, the Colts have not once maintained like 4 quarters of complimentary football in their 7 wins. Even they've been really close calls. They let teams stay in it. So if any team is within a score, they've got a chance. So while I do think the Colts win this one, like I'm not going to completely discount the Giants.
You have more confidence than I do, Jake, because the Giants, they get off to a slow start and then teams just run away with the lead. And then it's like, we get into garbage time and that's when they start padding stats and padding the score and all that stuff. And you just can't have that. If the Giants can't get off to a fast start and take a commanding lead and hold that lead, which again, they haven't really been able to do all season long, then it's going to be another long afternoon for those of us who cover the Giants. So we'll see. You never know. That's why you show up and you play the game. You never know what's going to happen. I know a lot of people will probably be upset if the Giants go on and win that game and the Raiders, keep pace, because that's going to upset the top of the draft order. But we will see. It should be, it's come down to the wire. It's come down to the wire for the Colts, the Giants. It's coming down to the end, mercifully. So we will see how it plays off.